It's not necessarily, but trying something different is the point of what we're doing. So I am going to ask you, and we're, I think, right on time.
I have a question.
Yeah.
If you're deciding, this is really for Mr. Johnson, if you're deciding to start making some changes on your grading policies, do you have to send out something to parents so that they're aware that you yeah, but that's not a problem for us to change it mid-year. It's not like we have to next year to make changes to our policy.
In terms of, but as we've had conversation, it's frustrating. Sometimes technology drives what we do, and so Synergy's gradebook is locked.
Right.
So you may not be able to change how you set your gradebook up.
Right.
So as I was having a conversation in the library, you may elect to create a dummy book with your new philosophy of how you grade. And then, of course, we are capable of overriding the final grade. So if you're finding that your new practices are coming out with a grade maybe 3 or 4 points higher than what your traditional book right now is set up for, you can override. Or you can, using the current gradebook setup, manipulate how you're entering those grades in to better reflect how you would.
Well, yeah,
Either
I mean,
way,
I'm not
you
even
need to
looking at messing with
communicate.
Synergy and the system that I have set up as far as the weighting and everything, but as far as like if you were to do a retake
Yes,
on
you need to
something,
communicate that
you know,
with your
that's not
stakeholders.
something,
Yes.
you know, just, or how homework might be graded, that
Yes.
instead of, you know.
Absolutely. You communicate it with your stakeholders.
Right.
That's not a problem.
I just wanted to make sure it wasn't an issue to change it partway through the year and not having to wait.
Anything that's going to reflect student learning, demonstration of mastery, and help the student, I don't think anybody can have an issue with that.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And when you're doing the retakes, do you alter the original assignment or the original test,
Yeah.
or do you just give it the exact?
Quite a few people advocate to do differently because that way it can't simply be I tried this many times and eventually I picked the right answer. You know, like, so yes, you should consider an alternative assessment that
So like
the same
test
thing,
version 1, test version
and it could be
2.
test version 1, test version 2, or if, like, again, you knew which part they didn't know and you
Right.
figure out a way just to do that. That's up to you and how you want to do that. But no, we would discourage you giving just the same test over and over again because the student just might eventually get it right by having seen the
once
same
it gets
question.
seen it so
Correct.
many times, then-
Right. And that's not what we're going for. Remember, the Virginia mastery of content knowledge, and that's what ultimately we want to get to. So when all of these things that you guys are talking about, which your grade, not trying to just make a bunch of kids pass more, but do they know the material better? So when you fill this sheet out, in fact, I was going to let you know, you don't have to turn this into one about put something on paper. Have this by tomorrow, or even maybe the end of the week. This is a perfect time for us to start something, try something new, because it's the beginning of a 9 weeks. You could do it with one class. You could do it with all your class. Whatever is comfortable that you feel comfortable in trying to do. But I want you to take some reflective time, if you want, on what it is for maybe the next 4.5, and I put that because that's up till progress report time. 4.5 weeks, what will you commit to trying? And that's when we invited you guys to this session and the session that's next door, is we're really hoping to have some teachers step into the waters and try some things.
There's no hidden agenda. Please know this is not targeting using some teachers to try and push something. I don't want anybody who's on a conspiracy theory mindset to think that this is something that we're going to force down your throats eventually. It is a matter of, I just want you to think about, because again, I reflect on if I was a teacher in the classroom now, I would be so much better than I was back then, because I would have adopted some of these practices. So, what would I do differently? So that's all I'm asking, just as I said,
Right.
think about it.
And then, yes, Dan.
I was just going to say, off of your strategies to consider, the only one I would say cautionary of is the I one, because we've had teachers that have either left it blank or put that in, and then all of a sudden you get to the end of the quarter, the kid never did do it, and now you have to plug, even if it's a 50 in or a 60 or a 40 or a 0, and all of a sudden their grade goes from an 86 to a 66. And now the parents emailing, calling, saying, how the heck did my child drop 20% in one day? And we've had the issue with AVID kids. AVID's sitting here thinking the kids are doing okay,
The solution.
and then day grades go in,
The
they drop to
solution
a
to
D.
that is you mark on the paper or whatever, and so the kid doesn't see the
Right.
grade, but then in the grade book, you actually have a grade book. Like,
You
so
mark it for
put-
you so that you know what it is, so you have something to fall back on. The purpose of that suggestion was that maybe the student would be motivated to think, I'm not done yet, not knowing you've put down whatever the initial grade the student earned on that particular assessment is what Ashley's talking about. And I don't
Right,
want
but
to,
I mean, if you don't have it in your grade book,
I'm saying you
like
put it
when
in the grade
Eccles
book.
pulls
Right.
up student view,
Yeah.
it shows an 86 for that kid. She thinks everything's fine, and then all
Okay.
of a sudden,
But how many
Well,
times
I
have you
can
seen
say-
a kid get a paperback with a number on it, and that's the finality, like, then they toss in the trash, oh, I got a 16
Well,
on that.
sometimes
Right.
what I
Versus
do with
marking
assignments,
incomplete.
when I don't think that they're up to the level that a kid should be, I'll put the score on it and I'll write the word redo, and in my Synergy, I have the grade, and one of my comments is redo.
Yeah.
So when they look in Synergy, they can see, oh, there's a 20 there, and it says redo, and that stays there unless they change it.
Right,
And
now I do that.
If they change it, I take out the word redo and replace the score, but if they've never changed it, it sits there so the parent can see, oh, you could have redone this and you didn't.
see, that's why I don't mind putting zeros in. 'Cause
real quickly, I don't mean to cut you off, we have another group anxious to come in this room and utilize it to do, but the second piece of this, please take some time to fill this out, but I would like to have it back tomorrow or by the end of the week. But the second piece, don't ignore that second piece. How are you going to know whether or not you thought this worked or not? And I'm okay with it, you saying, I didn't like it, didn't work out, but you tried it. How are you going to know? That's an important piece to me, is to know how are you going to determine whether or not that strategy worked for you. Thank you guys very much. I appreciate you coming, and enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you.